Saw my old sorority sisters, was doing the damn thing down in Memphis. We got to talk about Memphis and Charlotte. Also, shout out to Charlotte. We will get to Charlotte in a minute. Memphis is still Memphis. And I grew up in Memphis in the sense of when I was in college, that was the closest large town from us. And it was about 50 minutes due north of Oxford, Mississippi. And we used to go up to Memphis and hit a White House black market before a formal. And if y'all don't remember a White House black market, let me refresh you. It's just a store where half the store is white and half the store is black. One might say segregated clothes. And it doesn't mean segregated for black and white people. It's just you were walking out of there with a white outfit or an all black outfit. And your girl never leaned white. I think I would go there before Rush and I'd have to get a dress for Pref Day. And if you don't know what Pref Day is the day that you go to all the different sororities and you preference them. So after, you've gone through all the different rounds of Rush, which starts with philanthropy, then like Sisterhood Day, then Skit Day. Then it was, you'd rank them and then you'd get cut from some and then you would rank some more and then you would get down to your Pref Day and you'd go back to 3 houses usually if you were lucky. And you'd have to dress in some sort of angelic white dress and then they'd take you into the house and you'd hold hands and cry and you'd have to convince everyone like an episode of Shark Tank that you were going to do a deal with them. But guess what? You weren't doing deals with half these hoes. You'd be holding your best friend's older sister in the KD house going, I want to be Kappa Delta. This is where I want to be. I see myself as a Kappa Delta. But little did you know that you did a deal with the devil, a.k.a. Mark Cuban, who's standing in front of the Delta Gamma house. I had to lie at every house and tell them that that's where I was going to be, because if I didn't tell them that, they would not rank me high enough on their list, because it's a game of fucking Tetris. And then, so I would lie. I went into Pi Phi and told them, I think I wept with the young woman about how her mother had cancer and how if I became a Pi Phi angel, I would go to chemo with her mom. Oh my God. It's probably why my dad died of cancer. But that was the thing. That was one of the reasons I didn't go Pi Phi, is because the Pref Day back in 2005 was very cancer heavy and focused. It was, the house was beautiful and it was a lot of out-of-state girls. So I felt like I knew a lot of the girls. And you walked in the house and their theme, Pi Phis were the angels, really actually angels. And they had pillows everywhere and all this stuffing on the ground. So you felt like you were sitting on a cloud and you sat in your little White House black market dress. It was a white linen dress. And then I remember a couple people gave up. They did give up. No, a couple gals would stand up and tell their testimony of how Pi Beta Phi changed their life. And there were just too many people who back to back told me that one of their parents had cancer. And I remember thinking, do we have asbestos in this house? Do we have a tapped water line that's somehow trickling into the cups of the poor Pi Phi girls? And is that, I don't know, maybe a couple of the parents came on family weekend and that's how they got it. I don't know, but I immediately went to conspiracy theory. And everyone was crying. And I remember just thinking to myself, I don't think this is going to work out for me. Now, would I have needed my Pi Phi sisters, flash forward exactly 10 years later, for when my own father was dying of cancer? I sure would have. And I would have been able to go back as an alumni and stand on those pillows looking like clouds in my white dress and tell them just how much my Pi Phi sisters were there for me when my dad died. But I didn't go that route. I was like, okay, this is a downer of a house. I got to go. And I was working deals. I mean, it was like Shark Tank. I've really never done a full episode about Rush, but I feel like today might be that day. But yeah, you had to go to each house and lie through your teeth. Because even if you had your big sister was in the sorority and yet you were a triple, quadruple alumni, didn't matter. You could still get cut. That's just the name of the game at the University of Mississippi. It's hardcore. A lot of y'all would DM me, Heather, I was a Delta Gamma at Oregon State. Bitch, there were 14 of y'all. You could never. In the bonds, glad to have you. We were not playing the same game. When you come to the state of Mississippi, it is challenge accepted. It's not as bad as Alabama, but it was still a wild ride.